early because we're in the middle of MSQ. We've had dinner. We might as well just play through. We're just not going to deal with the, yeah, that.
Server Savage.
Yeah, Server Savage. We just had a bombshell drop on us, and now we're like, okay, let's move on. Hello, Radiant Soldier.
One moment. At some point in a bit, I will definitely want to pause and make myself some, like, hot chocolate.
I think that can be managed.
But that'll be in a bit. Ah, yeah. You're returned. But where's Mistress Nidana?
She didn't make it. I'm sorry. The prototype worked great, though, but...
Yeah. News yet reserve. Just when we had succeeded in making the talisman. I must report this at once. Meanwhile, please return to the great work.
Oh, we shall.
Pray return to the waking sands.
No. The great work.
I know, but it's kind of standing in.
Happening.
No.
Yeah, it's probably in the unexplored section of the map here.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. How many pips do you have?
I think 2 and 4.
How many numbered? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many?
That's probably along the beach somewhere. We can kind of walk down that direction. I think the beach connects. This is at the speed of plot.
Mm-hmm.
The speed of quest.
Oh, thank you for the subscribe, Cold Silver.
Of course.
It's always very helpful.
It's hard to believe it's been that long.
It's probably up on that rise which we just went around. We're here. We're doing this anyway. We're not going to be trained to the buns tonight because we don't feel like dealing with Server Savage. Or Server Q Savage.
Is certainly not for a second time today.
No, no.
Once was enough.
Twice. I got bounced twice.
Ooh.
Here's all one login attempt, though.
Yeah. Started the login attempt was at like 2,000 and some. Got bounced 3,600. Got bounced again 4,700. It's like... this is one I'm just not winning today, is it? Okay, northeast, so off this way. As I attract all the local wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
At least the music's good.
Chocobo music? Yes.
Oh, I'm getting the battle theme because Tay's in the middle of a fate.
Great.
Ah, there it is!
There it is.
Stop.
The other 5 should be on the other side.
Dang it, I couldn't avoid them.
Nope.
Are you gonna... Fine, have some anti-Garuda. And he resets.
He'll be back. In the meantime...
Nah.
Yeah, I could do it before you do get here. You go get him. Or go get the, what's it? I'll get him. Also, Boko. This is your job.
Yeah, Rift bailed on me too.
Okay, Mr. Surturmung, have you learned the lesson that your brother did not? Don't mess with adventurers. No matter how many times you rubber band and annoy us, in the end you still end up dead.
And of course the sky cleared up, so we get this wonderful view of the Tower of Zot.
I could do without that.
Where's the fog when you need it?
Yeah. Geology around here is something else.
Well, it's all giant gallstone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Thancred, we've got some work ahead of us.
Something's gone awry, hasn't it? What happened?
Oh, Lord, howdy.
So it was Fendaniel after all. Damn that bastard. I'm sure you wanted to do more, but you were right to return here first. We must tread warily lest we endanger Nidhana and the other captives. And not a side quest in sight. The satrap of Razda'at-Han. Thancred is wearing a grim expression. First, we must inform everyone of the situation, Nidhana's colleagues included. I'll call them together for a gathering, but I think it would be best if you were the one to explain.
Right.
Yep, well, we were there.
They are not gonna like this.
Oh, Nidhana! Can you answer me this? The Nidhana is trapped in the tower. She's still alive, yes?
Yes. Missed in the back.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was still him.
No. Then
Yeah.
we must make warding scales, as many as we can. The prototype worked perfectly. This Nidhana proved at her peril to herself. If we let us make more scales, that she and those who... So let us make more scales, that she and all those who were taken might be saved.
Aye, as alchemists, this is how we will help win the fight.
I agree.
And maybe an industrial strength portsea. My friends, the satrap has been made aware of the tragedy. Is he indeed? He offers his heartfelt condolences and reiterates his pledge to provide you with all that you require. To that end, he bade me give you this link pearl, that he might personally discuss the production of the warding scales with you. And for our Eorzean visitors, I bear an invitation. In her report, Mistress Nidhana noted your vital contributions to the talisman's creation. This fact came to the satrap's attention, and in recognition for your deeds, he wishes to meet you. In addition to thanking you in person, he would also discuss further avenues of collaboration. And so, if it is agreeable, will you not accompany me to Razda'at-Han for an audience with His Excellency? I think this is an offer we cannot well refuse.
Agreed.
You should be honored, of course. Closer cooperation between our lands can only be to the benefit of all. Then it is settled. Please come to the gates east of the Giant Skull grounds, and I will show you into the city. And there's still a lack of side quests.
I think they want us to go to the city. Away,
Yeah,
my
that
faithful
one.
chocobo!
Too many people in the zone, not enough working on the fate.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the fakes are going to be huge.
Mm-hmm. I think I turned in somewhere around 20-30 and it still wasn't enough.
Sorry, we can't help.
Yeah, main story more important.
We have slow chocobo at the moment.
Blaze is trying his hardest.
Yes?
He's not a proper drought like Urza is.
No. A very, very strange episode.
That was a episode that felt like the writers don't know what we're doing, so we gotta fill time.
Oh yes, that was decidedly filler.
No, Mr. Jamal, we don't want to play with you. We'll come play back with you. Brostinian?
Let's see here.
I don't feel like ripping my vocal cords tonight.
When last I visited, the city was brimming with life. I expect the tower has dampened the mood somewhat.
Husbando?
Be it here or in Eorzea, all share in the desire to deliver the captives. Thus united, I pray that we may join in common cause with the satrap.
Thingrid?
Of the satrap, I only know the common tidbits. That though the position is hereditary, he is not considered a sovereign, and that, despite possessing considerable authority, he wields it sparingly. Given the esteem in which the locals hold him, however, it's safe to assume that he's good at his job. He could do far worse for an ally.
Barshan?
And strict restrictions are in place for entry. Though you have been granted special permission, I ask that you remain close to me at all times.
Understood.
A vast rock squats upon Favnir, and to its stony surface clings the city of Rads at Han. Ye who enter here are subject to the scrutiny of gods, the gate's most. Pass beneath its hot and piercing gaze, bearing down like a second midday sun. The fragrant haze, a mixture of sweet incense and acrid smoke. The cries of merchants mingled here with lively melodies accented by dancers' feet. travelers seduced by vivid sound and colors were once swallowed up by patchwork streets.
That gate's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And are those the first Lalafell we've seen out here?
But no such scenes to savor now. To what somber present does that divine eye bear witness?
Oh boy.
Hey, action.
Here we are, Megadota. It seems a shame to bring you here directly. Under normal circumstances, it would have been my pleasure to show you the sights.
And it would have been our pleasure to see them. Alas, it seems our tour of the city will have to wait.
I'm afraid so. Come, we should head inside.
Ah, splendid. Most splendid. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Ahawan, satrap of Radzat-Han. Our alchemists tell me your assistance was invaluable forthwith. On behalf of my people, may I express to you our sincere gratitude.
Not everything went to plan.
Yeah.
I assume you speak of Nadana. A regrettable incident indeed. Her colleagues insist that we honor her wishes and trust in the talisman, that it will be instrumental in saving Nadana and the others.
I think not.
Estinian, what are you up to?
This charade has gone on long enough. Show yourself.
Forgive me, but were you expecting musicians, perhaps? There are no performers waiting in the wings at present, but arrangements could be made if you'd prefer.
Nay,
Huh.
he hath the right of it. The time for our...
Yeah. I had a feeling the satrap was effectively a frontman.
You travel as assistants to the students of Valdesian, but you are known to me. Even here have we heard of the scions of the Seventh Dawn.
You can't hide a dragon from the Azure Dragoon.
And for years uncounted hath this isle served as mine abode.
Vritra, of the first brood, sibling to Hraesvelga and Nidhogg.
Aye, mine elder brothers, of Midgard's Sorma's spawn, I was last to hatch.
Well, isn't this a surprise? We were told Radzat-Han had an alliance with a dragon. Not that a great worm sat in the satrap's own hall.
A necessary subterfuge, as the true tale of our nation history illustrates most effectively. In the beginning, the rock upon which our city is built was home to Vitra, and Vitra alone. In time, the ancestors of the Matanga came to the island and established a foothold. But never did they dare disturb the worm's lair. Next to arrive were the Aura. Adopting the example of their Akasodra allies, they too treated Vitra with reverence and respect. And for many years, an understanding between our forefathers and the Great Worm endured. Until marauding heroes from the mainland came, threatening to shatter our peace and tranquility. When it seemed all would be drowned in blood, Vitra himself came forth and quelled the rising conflict. A peaceful accord was reached, and oaths sworn in Vitra's name. Thus began the dragon's governance of the fledgling state, which was to grow into Radz Athan.
But if Ritra is still here, then your position as Satrap is just...
a charade.
I would not be the flame which consumeth my people. Those few who joined me in laying our country's foundations were, perforce.
Tis here, buried within the semblance of flesh. The body before thee is but a simulacrum, constructed by the finest artisans of Razatan. With mine eye nestled within, it doth serve as an inconspicuous vessel for my will.
Well, I called that one.
Yes, you did.
As usual.
That would explain why I felt the presence of a dragon upon our first meeting.
I am woven with words fashioned to deceive such arcane senses. Though 'twas short-lived, it seemeth thy fusion with my brother hath left thee much altered. Estinian warm blood.
Ooh, he knows that old title.
From the very first, we sensed the nature of one another, yet did neither one of us bear his fangs. That is all I need know of thee for now.
With my secret thus revealed, I have for you a proposal. Not as a worm of the first brood, but as the ruler of endurance of the warding scales. The narrow confines of the tower doth limit the size of our force.
And thus denied strength in numbers, thou must choose thy soldiers with care.
Just so. Yet though our radiant host is formidable, I see a surer path before me. Thou's in Pagalthan and Cartanau, I am told. 'Tis upon that strength I would call. The Scions have proven themselves the most capable, and I ask that you serve as the tip of our spear. Talismans would, of course, be provided for each of thy companions. And should you agree to this undertaking, more will be provided to make use of as you see fit.
There's no denying it's a dangerous proposition, but the rewards may far outweigh the risk. Just think of what we might accomplish if we could equip all our allies with warding scales. I worry, however, that even the four of us may be too few for what you have in mind. Might we regroup with our friends first to discuss the matter?
'Tis no trifling task that I have laid before you. Go, steel your hearts and hone your plans. Such time as you require shall be spent in crafting your protective charms.
It seems a quick trip back to Charlian is in order.
Wilt thou not lend thine aid?
Whether your request be made as a great worm or the ruler of
Yeah.
Razahan, I see no reason to refuse, nor will I.
I am in thy debt.
Yeah. Still called it.
Yes, yes, you
Again.
did.
Brostinian.
If our course of action is decided, let's not tarry.
Yeah, he's chomping at the bit. Ariante?
That we should encounter one of the first brood in such a circumstance. Which brings up a question.
Mm-hmm.
How many are in the first brood?
I believe there was 7,
We've met most of them.
but not all.
Trying to think. They mentioned, of course, the obvious 2 others, and then there's him, so that's 3.
Okay.
Nidhogg.
Nidhogg, Hraesvelgr, and Ratatosker.
Oh, okay.
She was actually first brood.
Okay.
And then now we have Vitra, which leaves 1 left.
Yeah.
Thancred.
That decides to click on him instead of Boko or Estinian. No.
Are you having selection problems?
Lots. That meeting took a rather unexpected turn, but now we have a clear objective ahead of us. Let us rejoin our comrades in Charlian and muster a suitable crew for our foray into the Tower of Zot. Oh, and if you haven't already done so, be sure to attune the Aetheryte here before departing. Unless, of course,
Mr.
one
Gig-
outrageously expensive headband was also enough.
2 others in the zone, so...
Must be so tall to enter.
Yeah, warning about the Aetheryte there. It'll be a while before you can get it.
Okay. that we'll just deal. Okay, off to Old Charlin. Oh, that Gylfie!
Yes, yes. I was going to snark about that and then forgot.
Oh,
you have your
man.
priority Aetheryte passes.
And we've got a priority Aetheryte guild buff going. And
Yeah,
it was
reduced
still
rates.
over 1,000 gil.
It's not cheap.
If you want to cheap travel, this is not the right profession.
You're taking a while to load everything in. I'm right next to you, by the way.
Okay. We didn't end up in separate instances or something.
No. If you're in a party, they
There
tend
you are.
They tend to be
I
good
know,
about that.
but you were still showing as far away.
So let's see what Alphino, Alice, and Kryl have been up to.
Do we want to check the other 2?
I've already clicked on Thancred, sorry.
Just as I was getting used to balmy Thavnair, we're back in chilly Charlian. Take care not to catch your death, eh? We need you for the battles to come. Now then, your investigation here remains, but when that's over, the other half of the intro. Vitra and his alchemists have prepared us for our foray into the tower. What we may accomplish within its twisted halls remaineth to be seen. That Arkasodara languish in Telefroi chains doth forewarn us of the nature of our foe. 'Tis the gods of Thavner who will be summoned to thwart us. Yep.
Estinian?
Who's bravely keeping those crates from falling over.
It is his nature.
A conflict between Nidhogg and I is in the past, and though they were brothers, it has no bearing on my view of Vitra. Above all else, he is a leader of men, not an enemy. He would hardly dedicate his life to this endeavor if he bore our kind any ill will.
Yeah, but I got a feeling at some point you and him are going to be having words. If anything, to understand. Alisei?
No.
No?
Come back across the aisle.
Oh, Thancred?
Yes? I returned my way of Kit's experimental aetheryte, yet I must say it was far less taxing than our first attempt, and apparently we need only ask if we wish to use it again. Now, I'm not terribly eager to repeat the experience, but if you're willing to test your ethereal fortitude for the sake of technological advancement, then who am I to stop you?
Thancred? Since when have we replaced you with a simulacrum of Thancred?
Well, if this isn't the real Thancred, it will do until something better comes along.
Alphino?
If the form is intent on concealing its intentions, then a cursory investigation will avail us little, I suspect. We will need to dig deeper, and with the greatest of care.
Stola? The process by which the foreman members are elected is fair and equitable. Neither wealth nor social standing offers any advantage to the prospective candidates. But fairly elected or not, Master Motoya still found them to be all insufferable. She would.
Hitting the books. Trial is intent on uncovering the reason behind the forum's inexplicable behavior.
This is an unsettling change that come over Charlian, but together we might define an underlying cause for the forum's callousness. As mentioned before, however, the questioning the counselors directly as fruitless endeavor. Therefore, they seem to have already come to a consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge. Which is why I begin scouring Charlene's archives of historical records for any hint of the connection to the final days. Suffice it to say that progress has been slow. There's only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day, but now that I have this band of willing reinforcements, the search should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside the Noramon, shall we? Exit the annex to the right, and you'll find the archives on the western edge of the woods. And away we go.
And away we go. And away I went.
You're in the right class to deal with Charlene.
I don't think I have nearly enough patience for this. The crowd in front of that desk, it never ends.
No! It's there, rain or shine, night and day. So we're off to
The number of overdue library books that are being turned in must be truly enormous.
I think it's more a waiting list to use the nap rooms. Though you'd think the Numenum would actually have a real path and not this dirt road.
Yeah, well.
Snowhar?
The tale of the pauper who became king has been passed down for generations throughout Ilsabard. Close scrutinization of the names of locations described in the story, however, reveals the possibility that the Savalis actually exist. What's that? You're not here for my lecture? He's talking about Delita.
Yes. And by the way, they do actually exist. I hope you like water. It's quite the slide.
Oh, and brush up on your math. The silent Monopteros.
Himizu?
Okay. Here at the silent Monopteros, some patrons quietly read their books, while others like myself lose themselves in soundless meditation, until they're rudely torn from their reveries by newsy adventures with nothing to say.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
I just wanted to know where his book was.
Do you mind? I need to submit a written report on this book, and I've barely even scratched the cover. Sorry.
So you're about halfway through.
Okay, this just leads that way.
Hold on a moment.
Sure. Are you weighing a better view of Thaliak?
I'm just noticing it was a really nice vantage point.
Yeah. No vista here, though.
No. Well, nothing that we get credit for.
Yeah. Okay. But really, all this, and they don't even give us a halfway decent path. I am going the right direction. No, I am not going the right direction.
No.
Deer trails. They're all deer trails.
No, these are scholar trails.
By the way, touchy.
All the Aethernet shards in Old Shoreland.
Mm-hmm. This is not where we need to go.
Well, other than for getting that done.
Yeah.
And there's Cryo. And just PCs over there.
My directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case... Well, they kind of were. You know us, we kind of get lost all the time. In any case, you stand now before the doors of the Numenum. Actually only an entrance, and one of many in fact, that the archives of the Numenum extend deep beneath the surface like roots of a tree. The vast halls of the great Google Library pale in comparison to Nomenum's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Charlene is free to enter and peruse the shelves, well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I've dispatched Yustola and Raha to investigate these. Meanwhile, Alice and Alphino will help me continue my search through the stacks open to the general public.
Now that's interesting. She uses the more or less formal Yashtola, but the very familiar Raha.
Well, keep in mind, Raha was her student.
Okay. Ooh, I'd forgotten that.
Yeah. She was kind of a mentor to Raha. And to young Alphino, too, though much less formal settings.
Yeah.
Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you are only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon the Charlene history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of these subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? Others to meet us at the stone benches over there once we've found something promising tomes. Happy reading!
Okay. Numenon is, among other things, a philosophical term from ancient Greek. A posited object or event that exists independently of human sense or perception. Which means, it's got some of the same roots as phenomenon.
Right.
The term noumenon is generally used in contrast with or in relation to the term phenomenon, which refers to any object of the senses. So something that you sense is a phenomenon. Anything that you don't, but still exists, is a noumenon.
Interesting. Something I forgot to bring up when we were talking with Vitra. Notice how he speaks. He doesn't speak Draconic.
True. He does not.
Every other dragon we've met, we've had that, little thingy around it. He doesn't.
He's actually talking the local language and local tongue. Though sometimes Midgard Somer would do that too.
Yeah, but not habitually.
Isolos? Oh, you're looking for a specific volume? Only Archons may check out forbidden tomes, but if there's anything else you require, simply say the word. Brightly colored book. It's a coloring book?
The title on the spine reads The Story of Charleon. Read the book. Long, long ago, on an island in the northern sea, there lived a Rogadan man by the name of Nunkref. Nunkref was a student of astrology, and he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So it was that he built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for that imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror, the strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Nunkref's crew hauled them aboard his ark, but the danger had not passed. The towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. With only moments to spare, Nunkref wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship to safety atop Abalathia's spine. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Nunkref gathered to him his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the Ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time it became the city of Charleon we live in to this day.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
I was wondering...
trying to reconcile some of what they were saying earlier.
Yeah. And how it reconciles with the founding of Garabania.
Red-covered book. Roads of Old, the Colony. Right. Many years ago, on the banks of the Thaliak in the Dravanian hinterlands, a Charlian colony once thrived. This settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the ethereal sea in the year 1311 of the 6th Astral Era. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged a gradual expansion in structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Charlians. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Charlian colony. Eorzean residents took to calling the colony itself Charlian, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Charlian inhabitants, if pressed for a name, would simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the Great Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Idleshire. The following chapters go on to introduce the most prominent features of Idleshire. This book does not appear to contain additional information on the Forum or cover the history of the Charlian motherland in greater detail.
Well, very interesting, though.
Yes.
So that was pretty much all fairly well known and said earlier.
Well, here's a thing. I think I've mentioned it before, but it's worth mentioning again. When they were redoing 1.0 to 2.0, that colony of Charlian was going to be a third starting city.
Yeah.
And they ripped it out like partway through development because it was just too much of a task to have four different starting cities.
Yeah. I am rather in the middle of something, so if you wouldn't mind leaving me to my research, thank you.
You're welcome.
Leather-bound tome. The Voice of a Growing City. In the years which followed the founding of Charlian, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum at which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The larger number of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. And research, no doubt. Various measures were introduced in an attempt to curtail protracted discussion, but in the year 201 of the 6th Astral Era, it was ultimately decreed that Charlian would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus was the Forum as we know it today conceived and created. Still riffling through materials, are you? Unfortunately, I'm struggling to find just the right tome.
We went ahead and started the stream early, dear.
Okay. That's alright, I don't know how you
Blue-covered book. An Introduction to the Heavens. Have you ever gazed at the skies above and contemplated the mysteries contained therein? I speak not of shifting cloud patterns, but of the vastness beyond, of the sun and the twinkling tapestry of the night. Some think the dome above us to be a finite space, yet amongst the leading thinkers of our age, one scholar's depiction of a boundless sea of stars has firmly taken root. Alas, this heavenly sea remains an unreachable, unknowable destination. There are few indeed who can explain, in satisfactory detail, why our own star is believed to revolve around the sun. It was the technologists of Alag who came closest to understanding the laws which govern that starry abyss. It was they who launched Dalamud and sought to expand beyond our earthbound existence. Having read of their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? What if I were to tell you that the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past? That their positions continue to shift almost imperceptibly, but measurably, as we journey into the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart, and may indeed do so forever? Are you eager to learn more? This book is on the wrong subject. Search for works which contain details on the forum or a mention of the history of Shirley.
Well-worn manual.
Forever 20 Summers. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health and neglected to feed and rest your body as you should? I, too, once engaged in such foolish practices. If this turns into an infomercial. But one night, engrossed in philosophical study, I had an epiphany. For all the world's mysteries that drive us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life in which to achieve our goals. Thus do I share with you this mantra: I am forever 20 summers young. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19, or 23, or 40. Whatever age you are when you discover this manual, let that be the age you aspire to remain. Through mindful, healthy living, oh my god, it is an infomercial. Will you extend the time available to spend upon your chosen research? Another day, another moon, another summer to grasp the greater truths you peruse. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from a biological, aetherological, and arcane viewpoint. This book is on the wrong subject. Search for works which contain details on the forum or mention the history of Shirley.
It's a self-help book.
Now, how much would you pay?
It's totally a self-help book.
Hey, Baron.
Time-worn tome. This might be promising.
Stewards of Wisdom. During the chaos of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, Archon Nunkref, founder of Shirlian, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in the northern Empty, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war, and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. The Shirlians took to heart the words of their savior, and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon a foundation of accumulated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from strength of minds rather than strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came shrewd trading. With knowledge of agriculture came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered for wealth in coin, and the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Shirlian would live by their founders' teachings. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would eschew the tools of war, and with knowledge deliver the world. You've gained a fundamental understanding of Shirlian history and the foundation of the Forum. Head outside to the rendezvous point and await your companions.
Oh, I thought there'd be more books.
There might be, though.
Nagloy?
Okay. Nogala, something like that. I'm just here looking for some tomes I need to reference for my thesis. Luckily for me, if a tome exists, it's almost certainly somewhere in the Nomenon.
So I wonder if you can cook a mean fajita. Yeah, I feel like there's books we missed, but...
No.
Reference page.
Oh dear. We apologize for the inconvenience, but the reference desk is currently experiencing an unusually high volume of requests. Oh, so you're one of the backup login servers. My condolences. I think I sing Smudge.
Okay.
Please stand by until this issue is resolved.
That's
That's going to be another few weeks.
if we're lucky. I have faith that they're working on it, but yeah.
Yes, yes, top men are on the job. Ah.
Sorry, were you waiting long? I wanted to make sure I borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alphino and Cryo should be also along shortly.
I was delayed in similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mention the final day specifically, so we have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tomes, if they were even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare and share our discoveries as we make them.
It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate, plenty of comfortable places to read, and ready a supply of hot tea.
An Archon loaf?
I hope not Archon loaf. No. I will cook muffins if it comes to that.
I would appreciate that in comparison.
You don't want to know something funny?
Hmm?
You can actually make Archon loaf.
Yes, I know,
yes,
and it scares me. I'm never touching that. Do not make me make that as a collectible.
Oh, I was always quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home.
It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphino and I were to return to Charlene, we would not be allowed across the threshold.
A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position, and that of the Forum, will perhaps lead to reconciliation.
We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city?
Well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Charlian, yes, but I was born rather further away. In the southern reaches of Ilsabard, in fact. For generations, my people have dwelt in Corvos, the coastal region opposite the island of Thavnair. The Allagans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship brought in the subjugated tribes of the Makode to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and when the Fifth Calamity froze the seas solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvus braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain that they might prevent the remnants of Allagan technology from being misused.
Isn't Corvus under Garlean rule?
Being an an Elzebird it'd have to be. For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces. But Gorlimald renamed the region Locus Amoenus.
We'll come back to this.
That name is familiar.
I
can't place it.
It is a crutch place for the Reaper quest line.
Oh. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus.
That name should also sound familiar.
House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Allagan civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Allagan Eye no longer passed to our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Allag. As the last child born with the Allagan Eye, I was given over to the custody of friends and the students of Baldessian, who had me registered as a Charlian citizen.
I never even considered. Forgive me. That was an unkind question.
Even Thancred was taken in by Urkon Louiswa, was he not? Stories of adopted waifs and rescued orphans were more common among Charlians than you might think. Yet, regardless of our origins, we were all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient perspicacity, we are outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. Thank you, Graha. 'Tis exactly why I have such love for this country, and why I wish it to remain a nation of
matter of our impending doom. Excuse us while we try to make some headway in these books. Thayren, Rylea. More company should be arriving any moment now.
And I think Byrne is questioning your fashion sense.
I like my dreadworm suit of casting.
That's called?
Yes, it is the dreadworm suit of casting. With modifications.
Okay.
Headwear not included. That's a traditional summoner dong.
Yes.
Hold up a bit. Alice?
Oh, yes. Busy at it already.
There are others better suited to prodding over old history books, so I thought I'd try my luck with more recent events. If I can find anything better from the forum's baffling behavior. Raha?
What else do I know of Corvos? Precious little, I'm afraid. I have not returned since Master Gallo first brought me here. Right. I can tell you that Corvosa rebels still seek to slip the yoke of their imperial masters, though the fighting is far less fierce than it once was. Oh, and they have carpets. Flying carpets. The legends are quite extraordinary.
So, about the renaming.
Gorlian name. Yeah.
Yeah, this was somewhat revealed in the Reaper line. The Reaper line gave some great history, but left a lot of holes for me. It's like, I'd like to know more about this over here.
Oh dear.
But how the history kind of works out is that before the Allagans came in, the place was known as, looking it up here real quick to make sure I've got the name right. Yeah, Locus Amenos was the original name that the Garleans came from and were kicked out by smaller tribes that came in and through. They recently did a push past some 50 years ago to bring it back into the fold. So it would be effectively like the Israelis taking Israel back during the Exodus after World War II.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
That's not fraught.
Yeah. It's a case of, it's a great fertile land that everyone fights over because it has the uber resources. It's fighting over a breadbasket, effectively, and it's been going on for millennia now. Back and forth between different races and tribes and peoples, and yeah. The Garleans saw it as a homecoming, but it also sued something of a rebellion inside of Garlemald, because, as they put it, yeah, we were taking back what our ancestors lost, but why should we make the children punished for what their fathers did?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the seed of the entire rebellion that ended up being snuffed out that Maximus was dealing with.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of deep world building going on under the scenes here.
Oh, good lord, yes. I went through a world book.
Back to our destination.
Oh, fine.
Hello, Live Swing. Welcome to Info Dump.
We've returned with our selections. Although I must say, the pickings were quite slim indeed. Mistress Kryl has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters, and more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we will be looking...
Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days?
Yeah.
We're probably kind of more knowledgeable about it than anyone else at this point. I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarut firsthand, and I fear I might be overlooking critical details. My thanks. Now, where to begin? First things first. What kind of phenomenon did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh?
A complete destabilization of creation magics.
Hold on. Yeah, the first one is the best one.
Oh, and, well, the third one is not informative, and the second one actually comes later.
Yeah, but this was the root.
Yep. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe wrought havoc on all manner of life. The chaos extended to the ancients themselves, causing their powers of creation to spiral out of control. Fear and despair manifested in terrible, intangible fashion. Meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling the streets. Which, yeah, always makes me think their real problem was monsters of the id.
Yeah, it was monsters of the subconscious that they could not control but to manifest. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, these techniques were not preserved or passed on. Y'shtola surmises that the closest known magic is that of the summoning rituals
Promulgated.
promulgated by the Asians. I was like, wait, what? I know you're a scholar, but holy moly.
Oh, come on.
Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of the final days? They say it began with a keening sound from the land itself.
Yeah.
And it originally happened in a different city and then spread to Amaru.
Yeah. Ah, yes. The Amaru teens spoke of it, didn't they? We never did hear this sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. But it seems that each and every one of the catastrophes was preceded by this ominous noise. Eventually, it resounded all across the star, and not even Amarut was spared.
So the ground was crying out, you say? To be considered the harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of the Numenon's marmots and ask if any books which make mention of such a sound.
And I've always wondered if the sound was physical or born pinged, basically on the mind, basically spiritual aether.
Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive actions did they take? What they did was do a summoning.
Yeah, they summoned Zodiark. No, they did not knock Talamud from the sky. It didn't exist at that point. Yes, with Elidibus serving as his heart. So many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiark brought salvation to the star, only that by his godlike will were the laws of nature set aright. Then, once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Lives sprouted anew, and it was these fledgling souls they intended to render unto Zodiark. A trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had Vinat and her fellows not manifested their opposition in the form of Hydaelyn.
Thank you, both of you, for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now that in my understanding of events. Why do I feel like I just got quizzed by the game?
Also, and this reminder of everything we dumped on you about 2 years ago, brought to you by Square Enix.
With all that freshly in mind, what does it make me to wonder what the Telophoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days? We've seen what they're doing with the towers of theirs, is forcing people to... But with all this, it's just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return to our attention to the forum, shall we?
We should keep an eye out for Y'shtola, but 'tis time we began studying these research papers.
Ah, there's Kryl over here.
Oh.
Hiding behind the other Popoto.
Yes.
It really is comforting to have all these dedicated assistants on hand. Right, then. Enough chatting, more reading.
Great. She considers us all her assistants.
Well, at kind of the stage we are. Alphino?
So, I mean, including all the other scions. Many forum members are also researchers or professors. If they know aught of the final days, then that knowledge might surface in their writing. That is my hope, anyway.
Not a bad plan.
Mm-hmm.
And now we wait for, Cat Mom.
Nope.
Yeah,
Still the same.
you need to remember. Remember the name Vno. Remember it.
Mm-hmm.
It will be very, very important.
No spoilers! I'm the last, am I? Well, my extended research of the Archon stacks produced 1 or 2 possible useful books. But I wouldn't get your hopes up. If you recall, Urianger learned of the source's reflection from the Gurun oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, the tome was deemed apocryphal and sealed away in the Great Google Library. 'Tis even less likely that the knowledge of this unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on the shelves for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason that then my colleagues, be they archons or counselors, should perforce be a large ignorant on the subject. Yet when confronted Master Fochino with knowledge of the Telophoroi and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us. Which only supports the conclusion that wherever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior, it is being kept secret for the rest of the nation. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty. Whether they contain mention of the final days or no, these books could yet hold some value. If you weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone.
You labor for what feels like an age as you're still his research assistant. Oh no!
Oh, she brought back 1 or 2 that is not 1 or 2 books, girl. Holy moly. Stola?
Just some light reading.
Thank you for your help, but I think I can manage the rest without your assistance. If I were you, I'd steal a few quiet moments for myself. That's usually the cue for side quests, but I'm not seeing any. Okay. Kryl?
Yeah, what is wrong with this place?
Oh dear, you look exhausted. But what of your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subject I mentioned? Then the days were well spent. You should wish to read them again, and Mamet at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied within our research for quite some time.
Ah. Wow. I'm still like 2/3 of the way through. Nope. Not even that was the signal for, more side quest. What's wrong with this place?
Stola? Thank you for your help. I think I can manage the rest without your assistance. If I were you, I'd steal a few quiet moments for myself. Kryl the same?
Kryl, however.
Well, I did find one paper focused on the world before the advent of the first umbral calamity, but it reads more like a work of fanciful fiction than an actual academic supposition. Alphino?
I found not of interest so far. I think Y'shtola might be right about not getting our hopes up.
Graha?
Your efforts to gain Graha to his attention go unnoticed. He appears to be lost in his reading.
Bookworms doing their bookworm thing. Alice.
A seat at the last stand. Alice appears to be in desperate need of a study break.
Ready for a tea break, Theron? Rylia? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down at the harbor, don't you? Come meet me near the outside tables, and I'll treat you to their coffee. It's quite good. Yeah, I could go for that. As long as it does not...
Hold on. Well, first of all, follow. Speaking of such things, actually, I am going to take a similar break. You done with your Coke and want anything else, or are you still good?
I've got a little left, but if you want to warm up tea as a follower, I can deal with that. It's been nippy here. Remember, she can actually see. Kind of. She sees differently. As I slowly make my way down to the last stand.
Very appropriately named, too.
As long as they're not going to force feed me Archon Loaf, I'm good.
And, that's the reason.
They're force feeding me Archon Loaf?
Thus, this is the last stand of culinary arts in Charlian.
Yes, I know. As we wait for Ryan to get back with tea. Yeah, it definitely rained a little bit. Rylia was saying yesterday, right before heading to bed, that they were feeling a pressure storm moving in.
Yeah, we got some snow up here.
Woo!
Yeah, not a whole lot of snow, but we got it.
I'm debating, do I continue as summoner, or do I work something else because we're still in level 80 quests?
Probably work something else.
Summoner's kind of appropriate for dealing with old Charlian. Oh. Unless we... go ask.
Scholar. Oh, ask. Yeah. Still technically appropriate. After all, we all know that the astrology in Ishgard is basically the same thing as Charlian.
Well, astrology in Ishgard is... astrology from Ishgardian astrology is its own unique thing. It's just there's a Charlian trainer in Ishgard now training Charlian astrology, which is more useful on a battlefront as opposed to predicting draconian movement.
Good point.
So...
Wow, 2,000 feet.
Yeah, even I'm feeling the pressure a bit from incoming weather. You know that old wives' tale of how old people can tell the weather by how their joints ache? Yeah, yep. It's a real thing. We become living barometers as we get older. Ooh.
Yeah, a good friend of mine was in a really nasty car accident.
He has a titanium rod in his arm. He has the same thing.
Yeah. It's not a wives' tale, it's a fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 33 degrees? Wow, that's a heat wave.
Yeah, I can definitely feel it in my head and my sinuses because I've had so many allergies and sinus infections over the years. I can feel it in my teeth. My teeth start buzzing. Not great, let me tell you.
No, especially with what's been going on.
Yeah, my teeth are getting better. I still don't have a cap on my back two teeth. They're basically waiting for it to heal up. I do have an appointment for the one that had the double root canal at the specialist. That's for, like, right before Christmas.
Oh.
But that's effectively the final build-up and the put in for the crown itself, which has already been made. And then...
Wow, 11 inches.
I've still got my other crown, which is temporarily cemented in, but that nerve is just not wanting to settle down. I have the joy of a very slow-acting immune system. And then I've got 2 more crowns after that on my upper left teeth. And that will eventually be the end of all my dental work. Oh, sorry. No, I need to remember to tell my dentist about my front tooth which I chipped.
Ooh.
So, yeah, my teeth are in great shape. I'm just happy that poor Baron's back is doing so much better.
Oh, yeah.
I'm feeling it tonight.
Oh, I'm not surprised, but you're not, like, in the bed grabbing for the Advil bottle. Yeah, getting old sucks. But it happens to everyone. You can't say don't get old because that never happens. So, I'm still hoping that Square Enix can try and get some more equipment so that they can raise the caps on the worlds and things will settle out so that the server queues won't be so bad.
That would be nice.
A member of the FC we haven't seen in ages just logged in. I'm like, congrats on beating Server Q Savage!
It's probably not quite as bad right now.
Yeah, we're after the prime time, so things are starting to drop off because the East Coast has long since gone to bed. I've noticed that after 10 o'clock, the server queues become a lot more manageable, but before 10 o'clock, oh lordy. Today was definitely server queue savage on my part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you disconnected twice.
Disconnected and booted to back of line twice.
Yeah.
Initial login was like 32,000. Got booted. Back in, 36,000. Booted. Back in, 47,000. It's like, ugh. 4,700, yeah. Out there, someone has actually put up for offering you can get as keychains. The little box saying, waiting in queue, 32,000. And the other version was, you've been disconnected from server error 2002.
This one, I don't have to take anything out of.
And someone's actually made a limited quantity run of those. At least it's not as bad as World of Warcraft when Warlords of Draenor dropped. It was something like a 20-hour queue.
Ugh.
And I'm like,
I think I remember that.
I'm like, how did they get a 20-hour queue when WoW's population has slowly been dwindling, and they actually dealt with larger population and servers beforehand? It's like, what did they do that failed it so hard? But that's another story altogether. Ooh, tea. Thank you. Terminus. Kryle will be proud of you. Mm-hmm. Welcome back.
Yes. Trying an experiment.
Ooh. And that being?
Hot chocolate with a dash of Toriani peppermint sauce. Or syrup, not sauce.
That does sound good.
Baron had the idea, and I'm going, okay, I'm going to try this.
You have to admit, it does sound nice.
The smell is good.
And thank you for the tea. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Though I might have to ask for some Advil. Actually, I might have to ask for some Advil now.
Oh dear.
I'm definitely feeling a combination of shrimp tacos and weather rolling in.
Yeah. For me, weather was all last night.
Well,
I'm actually not feeling it right now.
About that tea coffee you suggested. As busy as ever, I see. Thank you, dear. I really appreciate it. How very Charlene that no other gourmet cafe has spurned up the competitors for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the city? I'd be interested in hearing the average citizen has to say about the Telophoroi. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think?
I'll say is now accompanying you.
This brings the question of how much do the people citizen know of what's actually going on in the world?
We're about to find out.
Alice?
Mm-hmm.
Someone here at the cafe should be willing to speak with us. Let's ask around.
Yeah, she had the same for me twice now, so she does not have like a random set of 3 answers like the other guy did.
Yeah. Pondere?
What is it? Can a man not enjoy a moment of private respite? If you're looking to share a table, then I respectfully request that you look elsewhere.
You misunderstand, sir. We were simply wondering if you knew about the Telophoroi. The Maze of Peace who have promised an end to all we hold dear, and...
Wait, you're that House Levelaire girl, aren't you? This woman with you is obviously a foreigner. I'd heard you were disowned for helping outsiders indulge in their barbaric whims, and here you are giving truth to the rumor. I'll thank you to leave me be. I've naught to say to the likes of you.
Oh dear. Well, I must apologize. 'Twas foolish of me to expect an ounce of civility from one so enlightened. Come, Theron, Rylea. Ouch.
Yeah.
Insta-spurn. Hildossi? Yes, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Pray, excuse the interruption, but we're hoping you might share your thoughts on the Tlafroi and their unconscionable plans. My goodness, if it isn't the younger Miss Lavia. My apologies, but I do work in the offices of the Forum, and word reached Master Fauchino that I was helping you. I see. We're sorry we bothered you. At least that was a kinder reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dickon.
More in the realm of more than my job is worth. Welcome, madam. What can I offer you today? Wait, is that Mr. Salisay I see there? My word, how long has it been?
Far too long. Meet Dickon, the owner of the Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion, and in between lessons at the studium.
That seems like an age ago now. I remember hearing that you and Master Alphino had set sail for Eorzea, and you never came back. Lately, there's been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything all right at home?
It's complicated. I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has opinions, it seems.
Well, it is House Leveler. No matter how discreet Master Fortunal may have been, news of your family's doings never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times?
We have questions, and only Charlene has the answers. Tell me, Master Dickon, have you heard anything about the apocalypse called the Final Days?
What, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. And that's what you're here to find? Information on this apocalypse?
Yes, whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me.
I wish I could. There was more I could do to help. But maybe there is. You're a visitor to Shirleyan, aren't you?
I am.
Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server with none the wiser. Oh no. We just finished preparing a few orders. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're setting down the food, and you might just get the answers you're looking for.
Not a bad idea. I hate to ask, but what do you think? I've taken on worse jobs.
I think I may not be prepared for a serving mini-game. That's the spirit. Pay attention now, and I'll explain where each of these dishes needs to go. Told ya. The tea set is for the chatty group sitting by the water's edge. The omelet is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gisla. She's sitting at an outside table with a friend of hers. Behind them, you should see a Makoti gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Got all that? If you're not sure, just ask and I'll explain it again. Good luck.
I think we got this.
Place the correct dish on the first customer's table. Selene, you got all of this?
Here's the chatty group.
Hold on a moment. Aha, there you are.
They had the tea set. Oh, my tea set. Lovely, thank you. The Talafra who? I'm sorry, I've never heard of them, or this final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you want to hear about the ritual arcane practices of the 6th astral era, common or esoteric, then I'd be happy to talk your ear off.
Maybe another time. Here's Gisla.
She had the omelet.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, finally. 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's dig in. No time to waste. The what? The Talafari? Oh, yes, I remember seeing their name in the latest Gazette. And some grand claim about the end of days. Some old senseless warmongering. When will these folks grow tired of spilling each other's blood? Best to stay out of it, I say. The Forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. And you, sir? Oven-baked.
Urbane banter with a smile. At last, the oven-baked lobster is mine. You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish.
It is all yours, good sir.
Final days? This is the first I've heard of it. Although that would explain why my friend has been rushed off his feet. It must be a busy time to be a gleaner. You don't know what a gleaner is? They're collectors of a sort. Travel the world procuring things that we haven't got here in Charlian. Priceless books, unusual live specimens, and so forth. So named for those folk who trail after the reapers in the fields, picking up every grain which was missed. Aye, by all accounts, gleaning is a most meticulous and demanding profession. If these Telephoroi make good on their audacious threats, then many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Yeah, like the planet you're sitting on? Why else would the gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads in from the docks all day. It's never been this hectic before. Not like this. Yeah, we had noticed that before.
But what I suspected was true. Most people are kind of not that knowledgeable.
Nope.
Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get anyone talking? Interesting. They seem unaware of the final days, aside from whatever vague news the gazettes are printing. Even Dickon had nothing to offer, and he's the best source of gossip in the city. If the Forum does have the secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job ensuring that no one whispers it in the wrong ears. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well. Here, a cup of coffee I promised.
Surprised I didn't have to put on the apron.
It would be just like them to glam us. But let's enjoy our drink somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the peristyle, away from the gossip and the wagging tongues. She's having us run all over the place, isn't she?
This is Alice.
Yeah, well. This should do nicely. Out of the wind and out of sight.
And into Cine.
When our father disowned us, couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Sharlayan? Grahas said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, how being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently.
I don't think that's quite true, Alice.
More cargoes. Where are they going?
They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos.
Labyrinthos?
A vast complex beneath the island. Sharlayan is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait! Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual? Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
It's worth a look.
How do you plan to get in?
We can swim. It's not like we're gonna drown.
You sure?
Hello, Octi! That was some good coffee.
Informative coffee. So where are you?
You're standing on top of me?
No, nothing here.
You're looking
Where'd
right
you come
at-
from?
Will you get off my feet?
What are you talking about? She's right where she's supposed to be.
Cats.
Cat are always on their feet.
A labyrinthine descent. Alice is excited to share your revelations.
We should tell the others what we've learned about the Gleaners. Go on ahead to the Nomenon, and I'll join you in a moment. Master Dickon will want his cups back.
Fair enough.
Excuse me. I would not be surprised, Foxfire. We know they have something up their sleeve. And they feel it important enough not to tell people. That should say something. No offense, I'm going to cancel this teleport to Fort Jobs.
Mhm. Needed to get some ingredients.
Kinda figured.
Well, successful experiment.
Mm?
Definitely be a bit sparing on the peppermint syrup, but it does work.
Mm. In case you missed it for Octi, Rylea tried making some chocolate milk with some peppermint syrup.
Oh, just hot chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
No milk.
Checking with Alpha Node just in case.
Right. Where's Alice? I thought she was with you.
She'll be here in just a moment. Raha?
Is that coffee I smell? Did I miss the tea break?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Y'shtola? My loyal assistant's return. There's a lexicon on the first floor that I need you to... Ah, you found something, haven't you?
And it wasn't even in a book.
Welcome back, Theron, Rylea. Been for a walk and cleared your heads, have you? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and it turned up information on the Gleaners. It makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from the institutions and bureaucrats, but as you say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. A sudden and significant increase in Gleaner traffic and in cargo, it certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan put into motion.
Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As history, Nomenon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Rylea and Theron and Alice learned at the last stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Sharlayans know nothing of that particular period of ancient history. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the Telafroi is wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they saw fit to unanimously deny Eorzea's request for aid. And now, the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale.
I do not think it's a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service to the Forum's secret ends. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves, and if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions.
What should we expect down there?
Yes. Oh, I'd hate to spoil the surprise.
Gee, thanks. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I should like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place.
That would be a great help. Thank you, Raha. Let's head down the stairs over there. I'll show you where the entrance is. And we're off to the cleaners.
There's 2 Selenes.
Yes, yes there is. Ready? Labyrinthos is not too far from here, but you may find the path a bit disorienting. I'll take the lead, so stay close.
Follow Alice and try not to fall behind.
Off we go then.
This is a brisk walk. Okay then.
It's a pleasant to be here amongst the trees, but really should move along. I'm following you, girl. You're just walking very slowly. Actually, can I? Now we run. Try to keep up.
Uh-oh.
I was going to put myself on follow and it won't let me.
No. Keep to the path, straight ahead.
We cross this bridge. Up here. I'm just following you, girl. The Rosetta is not far now. Or the Rostra is not far now.
Yes. Well, the Rostra, i.e. where we are now. Not far now. 2 separate sentences.
Ah! Here we are. Through the door and down the stairs. You did remember to attune to the shard back there, didn't you? It'll make life so much easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we should keep moving. Interesting, that goes to the Rostra halls.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Or expected more security.
Give me just a second. I need to do my, my officer duty. There is a chocobo keep here.
Yes. Okay.
Hello, Keep.
Did they glean you too?
Well met, traveler. May I interest you in a chocobo porter? Do not tell me. This is your first visit to the stop. I shall update my registry with your name, so you may access this location in the future.
Actually. Okay, it does not currently connect with anything. Heck of a place to have it, though.
Alice?
Oh, you'll see why in a sec.
Oh dear.
You didn't take a wrong turn into the Rostra there, did you? I doubt the forum would take kindly to your barging into a private session. No, we did not, but we did observe it. Alphino?
I've not been to Labyrinthos in the longest time. Even as a student, my visits were few and far between.
Stola? How did the Forum learn of the final days, and exactly how much do they know? More to the point, what do they intend to do about it? Hopefully the answer will lead us to one of the questions below.
And
Carolina?
I?
Welcome to the Halls of Artifice. Should you be looking to descend to Labyrinthos, the lift here will take you there.
I was really expecting a lot more security.
Mm-hmm. We're all here now, yes? I've taken the liberty of securing permission for our group's descent. Right, everyone into the lift. Down we go. Probably should have fish tacos for dinner. My bad.
Deep beneath the Scholar City shines a false sun within a fabricated sky. In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves, and this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge, buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Uh-oh. Cryo?
Did you call to me just now?
No.
No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
Yeah, I know that look. That... yeah. By the way, the voice... Will you three stop it? Holy moly! All three of them at once?
Pogo.
Riff.
Sorry, I had to.
Wow, you boys!
Yeah,
Ooh.
Rift and Boko were already doing it, so I'm just like,
Boko, what do you have to say for yourself?
And he looks away! Now, I will note that our friendly narrator that we're getting is technically a character in game who is supposedly already dead. So, we all recognize that voice and we're like, why is he narrating?
Yeah.
Magnothia? Oh, a fresh face, a rare sight. How may I help you, newcomer? What do you do here? Actually, you should ask that.
Yeah. Too late.
Simply put, my job here is to record and classify the Gleaner's acquisitions. The work is anything but simple. We collect all manner of items here in Labyrinthos. Ancient scriptures, artifacts, rare specimens, you name it. Odds are we have it. And all that needs be inspected.
What kind of place is this? Besides wet. What's with the constant sprinkler system?
This is Upper Akranos, Labyrinthos' primary storage facility for materials delivered via the lift. Here we identify and sort said deliveries from before they're sent to the Archeon or other facilities for safekeeping. You might say we serve as the entrance for Labyrinthos. Well, we have an answer for this.
Dell. We're indoors. What the heck do they think they're doing? You have the right idea, Boko.
This is a big enough space that you will actually have indoor weather patterns.
Yep.
Alphino?
Excuse me, are you a gleaner? If you don't mind, I have some questions to ask.
Rift wants nothing
Rift.
of this. Don't trot on the little marmot. Ernville.
You here to help or give me more headaches? Because if you don't have the look of a gleaner, and I'm in no mood for idle chatter. One of my colleagues was so exhausted he took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates. Now I have to have a pack of marmots running loose. Your exchange with Ernville has taught you about exhausted gleaners.
Oh, Alice's over here. Fascinating, but could we go back to what you were saying earlier?
Yes, please do.
Though he's being rather chatty. And Mindy...
And...
This is for Apropri. This is for Tazumain. Must be different floors.
Presumably.
We have a Junkmonger and a Mender and a Vista over there. But first, Nonolato.
I only just started as a gleaner, so I don't mind handling menial chores. Any experience is good experience, right? I'll do whatever it takes so that one day they'll trust me with those veteran requests that take you all over the world. You go.
Treve?
Give.
Let me think. Rare seed should be 1058. Cumin scenes 1059. Snurble berry 1060. Were they 1061? Ugh, my head feels like it's stuffed with moko grass. Why more loads to take out than carry in? Why do all this at once and risk mixing it up? If someone mistakes the Corinthian carrots with the Garabanian carrots, what then?
Exchange with Kiev has taught you about large shipments coming in and out of Labyrinthos.
Interesting that they're also going out.
Yeah, and she was saying more going out.
Stola, what are you pondering over here? Nay, I'm not shirking my duties. I've not been down here in ages and wish to get my bearings before I went bumbling about. From what I can see, however, there's not obviously out of place. It seems we shall have to resort to discreet inquiries, as usual.
Yeah, this thing is huge. Actually, I've forgotten to look these up. So that was 15. The Path of Artifice. The massive lift is one of several which connects the surface of Old Charlian to the subterranean research and storage complex of Labyrinthos. At the end of its descent, the mechanism opens up onto the hub of Upper Akrinthos, from where the passengers or cargo continue onwards toward other facilities. And actually, the one we had earlier was number 4, the Numenon. The pride of the studium and parent institution to the Great Google Library, this massive collection of scrolls and tomes is the largest of its kind. Knowledge from every corner of the world is collected here, and efforts to compile the Bibliotheca Historica, the ultimate repository of wisdom, is an endeavor without end.
This is a huge space.
Yes. Yes, it is. Try fitting this in the PS3 days.
No, would not happen. This is probably really pushing 4 as it is.
Yeah.
Most of those gathered here appear to be gleaners. Why don't you wander around and try making small talk? Oh, we have been.
Far ahead of you.
Hey, Dolben. You want to talk with us?
You want to know what I'm doing? Hauling books. And ore. And fauna. If it needs hauling, I haul it. Every decade or so, they take stock in Labyrinthos. You know, just sort and tidy up the inventory. Never seen an operation like this before, though. They just did one a few summers ago, even. Then, with no warning at all, this mess gets dropped in our laps. Orders from on high, damned if I know the reason. Could be that they're changing the layout, eh? Preparing for the next big expansion. Exchange with Dobbin has taught you about taking stock in Labyrinthos. Over here.
Oh, you're right. Fimborg?
Not looking forward to transporting all of this, but I am looking forward to a nice drink afterwards.
I bet you are, good sir. Any luck, Theron, Rylea? What tales did the Gleaners have to tell?
Taking stock, notes concerning the massive inventory operation that is currently underway in Labyrinthos. Large shipments, notes concerning the large quantities of cargo making its way in and out of Labyrinthos. Exhausted gleaners, notes concerning exhausting work causing accidents, such as a gleaner inadvertently freeing a pack of marmots.
So, the grand operation began without warning. And for every item they bring in, they're sending more inventory somewhere else. That That would explain the haggard faces I've been seeing. We were right. The Forum is definitely up to something, and they're turning Labyrinthos upside down in the process.
And
do we want to wait
I say
here?
Let's call it here. It is 11, and I am feeling it.
Oh, come on. Sounds like a good use of the nap rooms.
Mm-hmm.
To the nap rooms!
Interesting music we're getting when we're not getting the combat music.
Excuse you.
Told you.
Yeah, it is that time.
Yes, it is.
Take this to the annex.
Right. This is a new interface.
Yes, they really redid the city interface for the hub, which is actually a good thing. It's a lot more usable now. Yeah, it is time for all good kitties to head to bed. Wrong door. You need to talk to Ochika here.
Right.
Yeah, the nap rooms. In any case, thank you all for joining us. I might punch the button and stream on tomorrow. I might not. I don't know yet. Server queues Savage has been savage, especially for me today. Today has not been the best of days, but it is what it is. You guys get a good night's sleep. We hope to see you next time. Maybe Monday, maybe next Saturday. We shall see. I'm playing things day by day, by ear. Yeah. Long Elysian ear. Good night, all, and thank you for coming.
Not everyone.
Everyone have a great night and a good week.